Get ready for Adam Warlock. The first Mythic Legendary is coming to Marvel Strike Force next week. We're going to talk all about his event, his characters. There's some job openings at Scopely. Are you ready for that? Are things improving at Scopely? Make sure you get your guesses in, because it looks like one of the silhouettes from one of these characters coming in the next patch is going to be revealed this Friday, and we are discussing our guesses and what happened during a conference call that we had with the envoys last night, Goofy. We're going to discuss as much as we can in this video, and if you're ready for it, my brother GoofyRhexi, tell him what to do.
Let's go smash it.
Oh yeah, I love it.
ValleyFlyin.
Yes, welcome back, Valley Maniacs, to your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update. I am joined this week by my brother GoofyRhexi. How are you, my friend?
Man, I am doing it very well. Happy to be here. Man, it's been forever.
I know we've talked, we've chatted on Discord, but you haven't been in the studio for a while, so I'm glad you're back in the studio, because there's been a lot that's been going on in Marvel Strike Force over the past week or so, and we're going to discuss it all. Are you ready for it?
Oh yeah, let's bring it on.
Now, before we discuss all of that, the Valley Club this morning wanted me to ask you, what were you talking about in this clip right here? Describing, I don't know if you could hear all this, but let me just play this clip.
We were all lathering ourselves in butter with the symbiotes and Carnage and all that. So
okay, so I don't know if you heard that, but you said we're all lathering ourselves in butter for the symbiotes. What did you mean by that? Because we were trying to figure it out on chat this morning. I don't know what you were talking about. So what did you mean here, brother?
So pretty much basically when I say lather yourself in butter, it's pretty much basically an expression of you were over the top excited about something, right? That's pretty much what that is. So like I say, I tell everybody, I'm like, if I ever got a 6-red bishop, I would literally lather myself in butter.
Oh my goodness. I'm hoping for that day. That you get that 6-red bishop, because I'm sure your stream would appreciate that as well. But all right, now that's cleared up, now we know what that means. Let me get your impression of this Adam Warlock event. It's starting in 5 days and 6 hours as of us recording this. Pretty much a standard legendary event, except for a few things. Some requirements, some ISO 8 requirements, some gear requirements, and kind of a friendly event, because at tier 6 here, it just is some gold, and then we go back to those extra stars here. How excited for this Adam Warlock event are you?
So I'm very excited for Adam Warlock. I think he's a really cool character, dope character in the comics, and it's dope that he's in the game. And the team is going to be absolutely insane, right? So I'm excited for the character. The legendary event has always been mythic legendary, right? The fact that you have to now use ISOs, and also I think so the ISOs doesn't bother me as much, except for when you have to go to tier 7 and tier 8, where you have to do ISO 4 and ISO 5. Put an ISO 5 on a character like Polaris. I don't need that.
Multiple that's already tier 5 ISO 8.
I'm just like, I don't necessarily need that. So it kind of it's a feel bad moment, but I think what probably also even feels worse for me, not worse, but also simultaneously, is the gear. Bringing a character up to Multiple Man or Polaris, they're performing very well for me right now at gear tier 12. Been to eventually put them up to gear tier 14. Although I'm real scarce with my gear, man. I'm real scarce with my gear. I'm very specific about it, and Scopely's forcing me to use it. It doesn't feel that good, man.
Have you finished Dark Dimension 4 with your big account yet?
So no, I'm actually in the last node right now, and
for your second run or your first run? First run. Okay. The gear crunch eases up a lot after that Dark Dimension second run. So
second run, okay.
I don't know how long it's going to take, maybe a couple weeks, but after that the gear crunch is not there, so it's not as bad, because there's not as many. You're not pushing these characters. There's still going to be the ISO 8 crunch, because you still got to push them for the Doom rates, but you're not needing to push these up for these levels once you're done with Doom. So that does ease up, but yeah, it doesn't feel good, but I don't mind it as much, like you said. You know, there was one thing about these Doom requirements for the Doom raids that we will talk about, because they did get sort of lifted, restricting previous content. I don't mind it as much chasing newer content, and in my mind at least, this is newer content. This is a brand new mythic legendary event, And while it does suck, I don't mind it as much as far as the gear and the ISO 8's requirements for that, because it's new content. I don't mind it as much as new content. Now, let me ask you something personally, because the chat was wondering about this morning as well. You got 2 accounts. You got a more mid-game type of account, although I would say it's very close to end game, if it's not end game. I don't know where you're considering that larger
account.
End
game at this point.
End game, okay. And then you have a newer account, and you've been running that for a few months now. I don't know if you'd still consider that the early game beginner account, or if you've shifted it to a more mid game. But where are you as far as your unlocks for both of those accounts with Adam Warlock? How are you going to get him at 5, 6, or 7 stars on either of those accounts? Yeah,
so 5-star unlock for sure on the main account. We're about 15 shards short of getting Longshot. That's all we need. Okay. So we're fine there. Baby account, not even close. Not even in the realm of possibility. Which is that's another thing to talk about at some of the time. But the content that's locked before you get to level 70 really, it's really too tight, in my opinion, in the game.
So you think they should some of those restrictions, like the Blitz Sim, I think Red Stars unlocks at a certain level as well, maybe like level 49 or something. You think as a newer player that would start to ease up some of the I don't know what not restrictions, but help with catch-up mechanics for newer players? If some of those level cap restrictions were eased up, you think that would get you back into the game quicker?
Yeah, I think that there's certain level caps that really are restrictive for the earlier player base. The one specifically for me that bothers me the most is that you cannot attempt Villains Chapter 7 or Hero 7 until, and also, subsequently you can't also do Nexus or Doom campaign until you get to level 70. So you really are in a place where, as a beginner player, you start to play for 3 months and you're done with Villains and Heroes already. Chapter 6 done. And you have to wait probably another 2 or 3 months just before you can get to level 70 to do that content, which obviously means you can't unlock Black Bolt unless you're spending a lot of money. You can't unlock Ebony Maw. So it kind of just slows down your progression overall in the game. And I think that's one thing that they need to release.
Yeah, I think when they first released that was kind of proper, just because it was harder content and they wanted to scale it back. Nowadays, people could have passed that way before level 70 with the power creep characters that have been introduced to the game. So I feel that as well, and it's good talking to you, because that's something that I didn't notice as far as the new player experience. One more thing before we move on from Adam Warlock, and I guess we're going to continue with Adam Warlock when we talk about Longshot and Polaris. But as a free to play, I know as your Brave account, you're a free to play player. Is that still correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So as a free-to-play player, does it bother you, and I know you spend some money on your main account, but does it bother you not being able to get this, unlike the Legendaries than at first go around? Because at some point, I feel there's been a shift, and even free-to-play players are like, oh, we should unlock these Legendaries at first go around, whereas I've never really felt that in the past when I've been free-to-play in other games, but I feel with this game, more players are saying, oh, free-to-play players should get in a first round. What do you feel is the proper level for that? Do you feel like players should get on a second go round? Do you feel that it should be available for everyone in the first go round? Where are you feeling on this issue right now?
Yeah, so I kind of group free-to-play players in 2 separate categories. There's one category where you're early or mid-game, maybe a little bit past mid-game free-to-play player. I don't typically tend to think that those players should be able to unlock a legendary on first pass. But if you're someone that's close to a launch day player, I do think that there should be an opportunity for you to be able to do so, which is the reason why I think Polaris, and which we'll talk about a little bit later, but why Polaris feels a little bit worse, because there was really no opportunity for any late game free-to-play players to have an opportunity to do so. So I kind of put them in 2 different categories. You have your earlier free-to-play players, and then you have your late game free-to-play players, which I do think should have the opportunity. Now, overall, this is how typically these games work, right? It's the mobile game industry, something that's newer content that is changing the meta in a sense. You're as a free-to-play player, you're never really expected to get a new legendary. They're going to monetize that very heavily. That's always how it's been, I think, in most mobile games that I've played, right? So I'm not surprised that I don't think that you should just be able to do it as a free-to-play player. Second pass, yes, for sure. But in general, I think free-to-play players typically have to wait a little bit.
Yeah, that's an important distinction. I see chat use the, whale or free to play, And there's not really a distinction because the global launch free-to-play player can still be playing and playing at a high level, high DCP, and not have spent a dime on this game, but just because you've been playing for so long that you have a larger account. And I'm guilty of that myself. A lot of times I group, spenders and free to play. There's different types of free to play and spenders in this game. And yes, that's a very important distinction. Now, you did mention about being short a few character shards from Longshot, and it's kind of a long shot to see Longshot in the war store, because this is a very crowded store. How many shards are you away? Are you thinking there's enough time for you to be able to get Longshot ready for Adam Warlock?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I think with I'm actually 20 shards away, but I said 15 because I'm counting the calendar 5 shards.
Okay, so 3 times. He needs to pop up 3 times from now to the end of the event.
So there's some cores. Obviously, my cores are depleted but since the Kestrel event and then now the Fallivel event, my cores are kind of depleted a little bit. But I'm probably gonna spend some core refreshes with what I'm getting from Arena to try and see if I can get them to pop up in the store. Worst case scenario, the event's gonna last 5 days, right? That's usually how the first legendaries last. So I'll be able to get them. Maybe I won't be able to get them on the first day, but I definitely will be able to get them, before the event's over.
Is it 5 or 7? We were debating that on chat because I remember some of the earlier legendary events going 7. I think some of the more recent ones have been 5 though, but I couldn't remember. Is it? Do you remember specifically if it is 5 or if it's 7?
You brought up a good point. There's a possibility that Jubilee might have been 7 days. Like she might have been a full week.
I don't fully remember, but let us know in chat. It's either going to be 5 or 7, and you, at the very minimum, you have at least 5 days from the start of the event to get your shards, and maybe 7 days from the start of the event. All right, this is the controversial one for a lot of people, and you mentioned this earlier. Polaris, she became farmable earlier this week, but not a lot of time between her farmability date till the end and the end of this event. And it feels bad for a lot of players that bought 2 strike passes to get these Polaris shards because she was not available in any normal or previously farmable way for players to get her shards. And they're not going to be able to get it. So what do you feel that this was kind of a sneaky move by Scopely? Do you feel that this just kind of they've had no plan for most of 2021? This just kind of goes in line with that, not really thinking about the long-term effects of this? Or do you think this is normal because legendary characters should be a little more exclusive?
No, I think that they actually, I think it's a little bit of both. I think that they did want it to be a little bit harder to get some of the characters for this mythic legendary, but I also think that they were really trying to push the strike pass aspect of this game, and they really wanted players to buy into it, which is the reason why they threw Silver Surfer in there. And of course,
I gotta, sorry for interrupting. That's not the way to sell it. You're like, we bought 2 strike passes and we still can't get the character where we want. That's a great sales tactic, Scopely. It just goes to show 2021 has not been a lot of thinking for these guys, because I don't think that entices people to buy that strike pass more now that they know this is what's going to happen.
Exactly, especially considering that no one knew that Polaris was going to be the legendary unlock, which you typically don't know, right? You normally don't find out until the very last minute.
Yeah, you get a hunch, but nothing confirmed until it's officially announced.
Exactly. So this. I think this is a little bit of both. They wanted to make it difficult, but I think that they also wanted to try to really push this new strike pass thing. This is great. This is another opportunity for you to get other stuff. And to push that too. And I think they just forgot about the fact that, hey, you're forgetting about your later game free-to-play players too. They should have an opportunity to get some more shards. There've been no events that have really included opportunities for you to get shards for.
The Strike Pass release character.
What I don't think she was in the Quantum Guard orb, or is she in the Unity orb, right? So there's really no other way that they even gave you an opportunity for you to get Polaris shards. So I think that's what really feels bad. It's either everything has been offers. It's either you buy the Strike Pass or you buy the first offers that came out for her, and it's never been that way specifically for. It's not been that way for previous legendary releases. There's been at least other opportunities to get shards.
Well, there's only been 2 Strike Pass release characters. Silver Surfer, who had abundance of offers, and he was kind of a special character. She's like a normal character, though, and they're releasing it Strike Pass only. It's like, it doesn't feel good. I agree, and I don't think as much has been made of this issue with Polaris and the double strike passes, but and especially the long time free to play players. I'm talking 3+ years in this game and still not be able to unlock this. That doesn't feel good, especially with no real way to farm Polaris. But I mean, there's also that balancing act. There should be some exclusivity to these mythic legendary or just legendary. Screw the mythic legendary. There should be some exclusivity. I cannot talk. Exclusivity towards these legendary characters. And I don't know if this is overly balanced too much, or again, they probably just did not have a plan for this. They didn't calculate it right. And they're like, oh, Polaris, how was she released? That question probably wasn't asked. Right? But all right, we do have some good things, and one of the good things that you mentioned is this login calendar here. Our daily rewards. We have the Infinity Watch, and we have 2 times or 10 shards total for multiple men, 10 shards total for Shatterstar, 10 shards total for Polaris. So that's a good thing. The rare one, that Longshot, that's in that War Store, only happening once, but I think this is good. Now, a lot of people were wondering where if we're gonna have this double drop, but it was confirmed by Zeeks on Discord. It was confirmed by Zeeks on Discord that we are getting 2 times. So this was in response to a question about the legendary events coming back, the double drops, and it says first time legendary events, I always have 2 times double drop events also. So does this make you feel a little better about that Polaris situation? She's gonna have a double drop event a couple times, or are you with a lot of the communities like 2 times 0 is 0, so it doesn't matter if she's having a double drop event?
Yeah, I mean, farming in this game has never been, with the weighted RNG that they have, it's never, there's more chances for you to get 0 than anything else, right? So
frustration mechanics.
Yeah, it's okay, it's normal. I'm not gonna jump for joy for it. It's something that they should have done. So
Yep. I mean, I didn't know it was 2 though, but it is something that's always done. I know it's done once, but I get maybe because we're having so many returning legendaries and not as many first-time legendaries that I'm forgetting that it happens 2 times. But this should give some players relief. So just calculate how many days it is till the event, and if you want to be safe, you probably could use that 5-day event instead of the 7-day event. See how many shards are short and see how many shards you need per day, and that's the way to do it. And take this into account as well, the double 2 of these, and it's probably before the end of the event, not before the start of the event. If you're looking for that day 1 unlock for the character, then it may or may not happen. Hopefully it does happen. All right. We had a little timing issue for Adam Warlock. Never had the double drop or the increased drop chance in red stars happen before the character was released, but it did happen for Adam Warlock. If you go to your red stars right now, you'll see he is in there with that extra 15% drop rate, which is kind of reverse of Moondragon. They released the Moondragon shards with those power core offers without any red stars. Now we're getting red stars for Adam Warlock without his actual gold stars being being available for anybody in the game. So do you like this, that they're adding this him to these red stars, the increased drop chance early, so we could start to farm these characters early? Or would you rather have them wait till his actual event, have more people accumulate more of these red star fragments and stuff? What would you prefer?
Yeah, so I guess a couple things here. So the first thing is it was weird. I do like the fact that he was available. Actually, no, I don't. Here's the reason why I don't like it, because you just open up red stars for Moondragon, and it would have that gap, that time frame to recuperate some of those red star basic orbs. It would have been nice to have had that opportunity. Now you kind of have to open up orbs that you probably weren't ready to open up right now for Adam Warlock. So that kind of feels bad. But I think the reason why they're doing this, there is a data mine out there, right, that there's going to be a 4% increased drop rate for the other Infinity Watch characters. So I feel like the reason why they made this available so early was so that they could do that next whenever he gets released. That's what I'm assuming.
Did they do something for Phoenix? Because I kind of remember the whole X-Men team getting an increased drop chance. But maybe that was a subsequent event. I don't remember though. Do you remember what happened? Ebony Maw, they might have done something like that for the
I think I remember that for Ebony Maw. That was the last one I remember.
Okay. All right, so yeah, he is in there now, guys. If you want to open your red stars, if you're holding them for Adam Warlock, you don't need to hold them because he is in there right now.
Yep.
Little different than I remember, although it may have, I may be remembering something wrong on this. But yeah, I don't remember this kind of thing happening in the past.
Yeah.
But all right, let's talk about this. And Adam Warlock, very exciting to finish off this team. But let's talk about this event. This Moondragon Show Your Colors event, a little controversial. I called it the worst event ever. I saw one of your thumbnails said something like, it's not that bad. Where are you right now? Is this the worst event ever? Is this not that bad? Is this a good event in your opinion? Where are you falling on this Moondragon event now that you have a couple days to digest the entirety of this thing?
So I'm still kind of in the place where I don't think it's as bad. It's not good, but it's not as bad. Like those are two different things, right? Okay. One, like it's not good, but it also isn't that bad.
I got a couple other choices that the chat wanted me to mention as possible worse events. But yeah, what is it? Give me your take on this event. So before we get to that.
So honestly, I think the anti-venom event was probably a little bit worse.
That was one that they mentioned, the anti-venom event. We didn't have Blitz Sim, and I think that was the event that made me hate Blitz. So yeah, anti-venom was one that they mentioned.
Yeah, the core event that they did, I think, was it this year or last year? That was also really bad.
They also mentioned that, although in their defense, and again, I think it's just no planning on their part for the entire 2021. But in their defense, the core of, you didn't need the cores. You didn't need the cores to complete everything in the event. They were just kind of like, I don't even remember what the extra stuff for cores was, but that was pretty bad because before we knew the details of like, why? That's so many cores. This is ridiculous. This is so many. Yeah, that was a bad one. And do you have another one? Because there was one that they mentioned from this year with. Do you remember the lunar event? How bad that was? How like what? This is it. They mentioned that one as well.
That was a bad one. Yeah.
Like, what? This is like, wait, this is supposed to be and I think that may have been the lunar event. May have been the one with the power cores that you're spending. We may be talking about the same thing. I think we are. Like this is supposed to be generosity and giving, and we're required to spend. So we're actually talking about the same thing. And now that I'm thinking about it a little more. All right. Yeah. But what are some positives about this event? Let's not be totally negative. It is a pretty bad event though. But what are some positives?
Yeah, so Blitz Sim has made things quite significantly easier, I think, for a lot of these different events, right? So being able to go through the rotations quickly has helped. And the fact that also for Arena, typically in the past, you have to use characters that have the trait in order to get points. You could just do your regular Arena attacks, lose or win, and you're getting the 50 points for it. So I think that's actually been a welcome change.
Well, the other thing is you don't even need to do your Arena attacks if you're blitzing a lot.
That too. Too. So typically what I do is that I save my arena attacks for nighttime. So therefore I'll just use that towards whenever it resets. I'll just use that toward like the 150 points. I'll just put that. I'll save like 3 arena attacks so I can do it. But in the Alliance one is bad because of characters that are not available for it. Yeah. But I guess if you drop down, which is what we've decided to do, there's multiple ways to do it. There's 2 different ways to do it. Drop the U7.5 and then to kind of grind through it, or for the full length of the event, or you can drop down the Gamma Raid too, which sucks because you're giving away a lot of resources that you could be gaining, like your Orange Gear Raid Orbs if you're pushing for things like Dark Dimension 3 and Dark Dimension 4. That kind of sucks, but at least you can drop down and get the Marvelous Allies milestones done within like 6 days. So that's a little bit, I guess that's not as bad, and you can kind of just go back to doing your regular thing. But it's bad. It's not good, but it's just not. And when I looked at the other events, I'm like, it's not as bad. It made me feel better. Look at the other events that suck worse.
Well, honestly, we're gonna talk about the Black Widow event that's coming up. That one's supposed to have some good rewards. And while these rewards are disappointing compared to other events, it doesn't make me feel as bad knowing that there's a Black Widow event coming with probably very similar rewards that we're used to. So we're getting 2 of these pretty big events in this patch. The announcement of the Black Widow event made me a little less sour on this event, but yeah, dropping down, our alliance dropped down to 4.2, not even 4.2. We're difficulty 2 in the gamma rates, and we're just using that. One strategy that we're using though is that last boss hitting one enemy and dropping out, because when you quit a match, it counts as a loss, and losses count towards this milestone. If you force close, that doesn't count as a battle at all. So if you hit one enemy, lose, you could, and you're using all your quirky characters, you could get those milestones a little quicker if you're someone that dropped. And that way, our alliance is still staying up at the Doom raid. So we can, kind of the best of both. But yeah, this isn't as bad as I originally thought, especially when I saw with the what's happening with the Black Widow. But it could have been better. Could have been a lot better, especially for such a coveted character. All right, we talked about since the beginning. We had a conference call last night with the envoys and Cerebro. Because it was part of the Envoy program, I don't know how much we can discuss, but Cerebro did say, you could say there's a call. You could talk about some generalities of it. So without getting into too much specifics, were you more hopeful or less hopeful for the future of Marvel Strike Force after that conference call?
Yeah, definitely more hopeful. But I mentioned it on stream last night, like lowercase h. Like
hopeful.
Yeah, like
instead of hopeful, you're like,
it's
full, maybe with a question mark at the
end. With a question mark at the end. There is a level of sincerity that I have not experienced in a long time from them, right? And
wait, you say them. It was Cerebro.
Yeah. So it was a level of, I mean, he's a mouthpiece, right? So in a way, I look at it and say, this had to be a message that came from them somewhat. So
I feel like some of it was from Cerebro, not just repeating, because I feel like everything that he says publicly is repeated, has to get checked. I feel like when he's talking to us, I feel like it's a little more unfiltered, and we get what he really feels, and not the corporate speak that most of the communities feel used to with Cerebro.
Correct. So it felt better to have a little bit more transparency, and I think that I'm not very good at not saying things, so therefore I'm just gonna say with small h, I'm a little hopeful. There are some things that I feel like they're listening to now. And there's more bandwidth to hear what we have to say now.
All right, and I agree with that. I also feel that there was no plan. We talked about this. There was no plan for 2021, but I don't know how much we know. There's a 2021 late 2021 roadmap coming. I feel we're going to get some information in there that hopefully can turn things around for this game. I don't know when that blog post is going to be at, but I'm looking forward to that blog post. Hopefully it gets us more things to be excited about. And in something totally unrelated, there was a post on Reddit about job openings at Scopeland. They go through these different job openings through the LinkedIn: senior game designer, senior producer, technical designer, director of user acquisition, character model, QA director. All right, so the reason I'm bringing this up, we have a response from Cerebro. There are definitely some key roles we need to fill, but several of those are actually new job requirements because we're staffing up the team. As now we're one of the biggest titles in Scopely's portfolio. They're giving us extra headcount to cover some of the gaps in our workflow. But yeah, sucks we're losing a great member of the team. Referring to Zeke, who we talked about last week, is leaving. I believe her last day was on the 25th. So without saying too much of what was in the call, because this is nothing related to that. What does this give you hope for? And we also he actually has a few more comments. Hopefully your recruitment tools are better than one in games. Sick burn, we agree, and we're working on improvements there. And then one more comment from Siri, just out of curiosity, are you going back to the solo CM, or is someone else getting promoted from within like she was a CM? There's some things in the works, but I can't speak to them just yet. But generally, this community needs more than just one pair of hands, and I agree with that as well. What is your take when you saw this? Because you were asking me about this before we started recording, so I don't know if you saw these comments by Cerebro, but what do you take this as meaning for the future of Marvel Strike Force?
Yeah, so it kind of confirms what I think a lot of us already knew, right? Scopely, the Marvel Strike Force game is a big game to the organization, and they do take it relatively seriously. So I think it's good that they are trying to solidify the team, and that they are identified that there are some definitely gaps that are currently there that they need to fill. I will say this though, whatever changes that they need to make to the game, this is not going to be like this is gonna flip on a switch the next day, right?
Yeah.
This is gonna be as long as it possibly took for them to get here. There's a possible chance that it might take them that long for them to fully fix this, and it's a matter of, can you stick around for it? Are the small changes that you're going to see, are they going to be enough to give you confidence that the game is going to be in a better place? That's really going to be your decision. But I will say this: I do think that if you're analyzing it in the correct way, that as long as this stuff has been going on, it's probably going to take that long for it also to turn it around and fix it.
I hope not that long, because we've had issues and seemingly no plan in Marvel Strike Force since December, at least for me. It may be longer for you guys. It may be shorter for you guys. For me, it's been since December that I felt this game has had no direction. Ever since Real Time Arena was introduced, like, what is going on with this? They don't know what they're doing. But yeah, so I don't think it's going to take 6 months to fix this game, but it will take time. They've taken 6 months of screw ups to get to this point. It's not going to be fixed in the next patch. It's going to take a little while. I'm still going to be here, and I think they have a plan moving forward. What this signifies for me, though, is a lot of people were saying, man, they're so greedy. They're just cashing out. This signifies no, they're hiring more people. They're ramping stuff up. They just had no clue of what was going on these past 6 months. Hopefully it gets fixed, and hopefully these ramping up changes, giving more help, will allow them to do more and improve the game. That's what it tells me. But as with everything with Scopely, we've got to be very, very cautious. We've heard a lot of things in the past. I don't know. We very, very cautious right now with Scopely. I don't think you can ever get too hyped. At least until they improve their track record, which for 21 has been pretty bad. All right, let's move on. We got a new Strike Pass character. Yes, a war defense character coming to Strike Pass. Does this entice you to buy this Strike Pass, brother?
I'm gonna keep it 100% real with you, man. I might have to, just because of the cores, man.
Oh my goodness, this is what's enticing you to buy it?
Yeah, man.
I mean, it could be these awesome character shards of a war defense character, and it's the cores.
It's the cores, and the way that I justified it in my head. I justified it in my head this way. I'm like, well, at least I'm gonna get some other stuff too, right? Some orbs, some trading orbs, some other stuff, some orange gear orbs. I made it sound good to myself, but mainly it's because of the cores.
All right, we may need an intervention with Goofy, so the link to his Twitch channel is gonna be down below. Polaris. At least you can justify those core spending. You're getting some shards of a character that unlocks another character. Bishop's needed in these Doom raids. At least you could justify, all right, at least I'm getting some cores. I'm getting some shards of a character that I could use. Kestrel, I mean, that would have been a no-brainer. I think that would have been too easy. But
White
any
Tiger,
other character
Moon Knight,
that has some use, Kitty Pride's in the other one now. Iceman, you could use him.
White Tiger. I mean, you could have thrown her.
But to have Misty Knight, or even if they had Colleen Wing, for me, I know your situation, Goofy, but for me, that doesn't make me want to buy it. Especially because where's I'm not seeing the silver promotion credits. Where did they go?
Yeah.
I think we had a few before. Where did they go, Goofy? I don't know where they went. Where is it?
Yeah.
I don't see it at all. Oh, here's some at the end. I mean, your picture's covering it, but we got some in there. But yeah, we got. There's currently an issue with the Strike Pass giving out rewards based on an older prize structure. We're currently working on the issue and send out future compensation for all affected players. Business as usual. Decimal point Jeff strikes again.
Yeah, that was a bad one, man.
Is this surprising for you that after all that talk of increasing the agency for Red Stars, increasing our promotion credits, one of the big sources they said was the Strike Pass, and it's back to normal.
Yeah, so this one made me upset. It was just more of a, how did this happen, guys?
Scopely.
How?
Decimal, did Jeff have his day off? Was compensation Carl feeling underworked? Like, oh, I haven't sent out compensation in a while. Jeff, hook me up. My job is at stake. I need to send out some compensation, or I won't be able to pay my bills. That's probably what happened, I think.
That's probably what happened. I don't know. I feel like it's really simple to just change character. I feel like that would have been simple to do. Just keep everything else there. Change character.
It's the most complicated framework possible in a mobile game, so it's not that simple, Goofy. You got to remember we're dealing with a very fragile framework here.
That's very true. I'm sorry.
But let's move on. Let's move on because we got something coming back. Doom Raid First Strike is coming back, which doesn't feel good. This is not what we wanted, but if you look at what was the most upsetting about their changes to the Doom and requiring the ISO 8, it was backwards progress. So as bad as this is, that we're going to talk about this whole thing. It eliminates the worst thing about these changes, that backwards progress, because it never feels good to have those goalposts met. And so they're bringing it back. We still don't have a timeline on it, so it's not. They haven't made it right yet, but they say they're going to make it right. Does this do enough to quell that? Because if you look at it, we have our Doom raids. As soon as this comes back, we have our Doom raids. The alliances that aren't able to get back in Doom, that were forced to go to Ultima 7. They can now go back to the Doom raids and get those milestones for Silver Surfer. The alliances that are already pushing for ISO 8, which is a silly decision to have that in the first place, but the alliances that are pushing for that and just trying to get to the level 1 or the next tier for the Doom raids, the normal that have the blue ISO 8, they can still do that. And it doesn't feel as bad, at least in my opinion, because this is now new content. That the blue ISO 8 is new content. What did you see when you first saw this? Were you as disappointed as I am, or were you looking at the positives that it took me a few days to kind of realize?
So when I first looked at this, I thought to I think you may have seen my question. I immediately shot a question and I said, okay, well, what happened to those who are missing out on the Silver Surfer milestones now? Because this is not going to be implemented. All these changes, they said it's not going to be implemented until 5.5. So there are players
not the first strike. They don't have a date on the first strike.
You don't have a date on this one?
They didn't mention a date on that. So hopefully this
there
week,
isn't a date. Sorry, I see it now.
There's no date on first strike.
Yeah. So there's a question of, okay, well, when are these people going to be made? Are these players going to be made whole? How is that going to happen? So we're still waiting on a answer. Like I think like a direct answer in regards to what exactly is happening with that. Whether or not they're good. I feel like the best thing to do is to probably extend these Surfer milestones so that players can actually recuperate and get those that they were missing out on. That's I think would be the best direction for them to go with at this point.
Did he say that? Because I know I mentioned in the chat. I don't know if that came from Cerebro or one of the other envoys, or if that was public. Was that something that was discussed, that they're going to extend the Silver Surfer milestones?
I don't know if it was.
Let me rephrase. Was that something that was discussed publicly about extending the Surfer milestones?
No, it wasn't something that was discussed publicly. I just think that's probably the best direction that they could go in. I don't know if that's something that they directly intend on doing, but that's one of the things that I think should happen. I don't know. I guess it's a Band-Aid. It's not really a fix. It's really the Band-Aid for it, right?
Because they weren't planning. They didn't have to put a Band-Aid if they planned, but they're like, let's throw this. Yeah. Oh shoot, we went a little too far this time, but now we can't revert it because it takes us so long to make decisions on anything. But this is definitely a Band-Aid. I mean, this could have been implemented right on day one. We were giving feedback for a few weeks before this update went live, and I think that's my biggest complaint with this whole thing. This could have been avoided. This could have not felt as bad. They kept this first strike. This not going live in 5.5, and we're going to talk about these ISO 8 changes, but having these ISO 8 changes go live before these requirements are met, or at the same time, or announced at the same time that this is what's happening. That's where my big complaint is. All this stuff should have been done beforehand, or at the same time, not 6 weeks after this thing is going live. That's what my big complaint is right now. But we did get some good news, and I do like these changes to ISO 8. Again, my big complaint: 5.5 instead of 5.4, or even better, have these changes go live in 5.3 instead of 5.5, and then give us some chance to farm this ISO 8. But I like what they're doing. ISO 8 crystal drops will increase 1 time to 2 times, so that's permanent. That's going to be good. Missions would cost 24 ISO 8 campaigns, and dropping 2,000 T1 ions is now going to drop, is now going to drop 2,000, was dropping 1,000. Also is going to drop T1 basic orb fragments. Missions that cost 12 is now going to drop 1,000 ions instead of 425, and also rewarding basic orb fragments. And then missions that cost 12. This is what I like. This, I don't know if I like this the best, but I like this. They cost you 12. You're going to be able to clear it 20 times instead of the 10 that you're able to clear it now, which will give us more focus on the pieces that we need. What did you think of these changes? I mean, obviously the timing is way late, but yeah, regardless of the timing, what do you think of these changes to the ISO 8 economy?
So I think this is actually relatively good. I think these are good changes, honestly, for the ISO 8 economy. I really do think that this will help players. I think this will help players who are not doing Doom raids right now more than it will help players who are already doing Doom raids currently. So it doesn't really necessarily fix the problem at the later game perspective, but I guess we can't all, it's good that earlier players or mid-game players, mid to late game players who are not doing Doom raids will be able to prepare better for Doom raids to enter into those Doom raids. So I actually do like this quite a bit. The timing is just off because obviously I think that this should have been released. Information should have gone out in 5.4. Then they should have changed the Doom raids after that, and then or simultaneously, whatever, right? I think that should have been it. But overall, I think the numbers are very good. Being able to specifically, the last line, being able to specifically focus down on support ISOs now, being able to specifically focus down on my controller ISOs. I think protector ISO, like, it's so much better now. In my opinion, that they're going to be able to do this
in 5.5. In 5.5, because it's not here yet. It's not here yet.
Yeah, you're right. In 5.5.
All right, but yeah, I like these. The timing of this is off though, but backwards progress got eliminated. We're getting some ease for this crunch on ISO 8. Again, it should have come earlier, but yeah. So a lot of the issues were solved by this. Timing of it though, this should have been done way earlier, not taking 2 weeks since the update to get this announcement. But yeah, all right, we also got the Doom raid difficulty changes. We were wondering, all right, it was supposed to be easier. It feels, some people are saying it feels easier, some people are saying it feels harder. I didn't go look at the numbers exactly what was happening, but now we know exactly what happened, and I like this. The only thing that I would have suggested is, as soon as they made those changes, put out all this information. Some people like myself aren't going to read all these specifics, but some people love these specifics, and this means a lot to them. So yeah, I like this. What is your thoughts on this?
This was, I thought this was dope. I thought it was actually pretty good that they actually gave us and released this information and let us know exactly what was changed. It helps out a lot. It helps me, at least in planning going into some of these nodes. I'm like, oh, okay, well, Taskmaster doesn't have his ult here, or he has 0 energy on his ult or something like that, right? Like, that's good information for me to know. So I know, okay, I have a little bit of time to focus on some other characters instead of focusing on him, right? So it's better for me to have an idea of what's going on there. This information they should do this really for a lot of their changes. If they're going to be, reducing difficulty, they should make this information out there better, quicker,
or increasing. I don't think they increase it too much, as far as I know. But if they're going to increase or decrease difficulty, this should be all these details should be known to the players at the same time, and not let us wondering. So I hope this is a trend that continues. I hope they keep, anytime any change is made to the game, it's more transparency is always better, unless there's something to hide. So more transparency scope, unless there's something going on there. All right, so we have some bonus events coming up. We're going to talk about this Web of Spies, but we were supposed to have an ISO 8 calendar that's starting. That was one of the eases up for these Doom raid requirements. We got this event for Loki that is pretty good going on right now. We're supposed to have this calendar, and then we're going to have those permanent changes going live in the next update. But as far as this calendar, a little confusing over the timing of it. And this is from the last blog that went out on June 18th. If we look at what it says as far as the timing, starting June 21st, log in every day for 7 days to earn that. June 21st came and went, did not get in the calendar. But if we look at this older event, or this older blog post where it talks about this, kicking off on June 25th local time, log in every day for 7 days to earn that. And that was a blog post from the June 4th. So what do you think happened here? Do you think they just got the date wrong in this new one? Do you think there was an older date and then it was updated in this older blog post and then they just forgot it? What do you think happened here with this? And do you think we are actually getting on the 25th, or we're going to get more date changes?
Yeah, so I would go with the one that I think that they changed the dates. I think it's an honest mistake. I think, in all honesty, that's an honest mistake. In all honesty, they didn't need to say both of those.
Zeke is getting ready to leave. Zeke is getting ready to leave. She's moving on to bigger and better things. So
yeah, so
I just got the date mixed up or something.
Yeah, I think it's just a very simple, because it was meant to start at the end of the Farmability event in the campaign mischief event, because that was their way of giving you more ISOs. So I think that they messed up the dates.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the date, it looks like it's starting on the 25th instead of that. Let's get into this Web of Spies event, because this sounded really, really good. This sounds like this might be one of the better events, because I don't remember the specifics of the events, but we're having a massive cache that will eclipse our anniversary event. I'm remembering this anniversary event as pretty generous, as opposed to the lunar event, which was pretty disappointing. But I remember this as a very good event. Do you remember the most recent anniversary event specifically? And was it a good one? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember feeling really good about it. That I remember the emotion that I felt.
I remember it was very positive as well. It's like, this is better than the previous anniversaries. When is the fourth anniversaries? But I don't remember the exact stuff. But this is supposed to be even better. So that made me feel a little better about that Moondragon event not being as good as previous event, because it looks like we're getting a really good one coming. So yeah, that's and the Moondragon event's not all bad. Just certain things about
areas. Yeah.
But yeah, we're having hidden threat orbs with classified data currency, and the hidden threat orbs earn classified data with blitz battles, campaign notes, daily objectives. Use the special currency to open hidden threat orbs in the supply section. This seems like good stuff. Web of Spies milestone, opening these orbs, which is very similar to what we have going on right now with Moondragon. This one was kind of confusing though. Target acquired milestone makes a red room proud with real-time arena matches. Battle in arena, raids, war to earn points, and that for all this stuff. You're getting the pink phase bits, all that stuff. This apparently was a typo from Zeke's. Another one from Zeke's. She's out the door already. All right, so and here's where she said that on Reddit. Oops, this was supposed to say battle in arena, war, and raids. It will be similar to other events where you participate to earn points. So no real-time arena, confirmed by Zeke's on Reddit that same day. And then we're getting a login calendar as well. I don't know if this is a separate login calendar that we talked about for the Ions, or if this is just to kind of commemorate the Black Widow movie coming out. And then we're getting some good stuff here. So the double energy, this other stuff is good. The double training modules, double gold, double catalyst. It's okay, but the double energy I really like. What are you thinking of this event total and that Black Widow costume? I think that's one of the better costumes in the game, and it's on a character that I use sometimes as well. So I know there's a lot with this event. What are your thoughts on it in total, and all these different events, all these different things going on, all these different milestones going on? I was trying to think of the word. All these different milestones going on, the costume, and some awesome rewards apparently. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is good, man. I like it. I mean, we have to see what it looks like in game, of course, when it actually gets released, and how easy will it be for you to get through these milestones, the calculations, the things like that you need to do in order to be able to get it done. But this looks like a good event. I think the Black Widow costume looks dope. It's gonna be incredible. That is gonna be really good. But the event looks very good. A lot of the resources that they're mentioning that we're gonna be getting here, I think, are gonna be great. It's just a matter of how are these milestones realistically gonna work in the game.
Yeah, it seems, with all the negatives that have went on this year, no plan, it seems like there's a concerted effort to ease up some of the gear crunches that we've had. A lot of these events have had a lot of gear, and like I said, I'm not really upgrading a lot of characters after Dark Dimension 4. So I think once you finish with that, you're not gonna need a lot of gear, because I'm really only upgrading like the newest characters at this point. So. So I think that's good, and I think a lot of these events are good. There's a few outliers that are not, but most of the events pretty good. Free stuff for doing what we already would have done.
We're already doing, yeah.
Blitz is coming back. We talked about this, but Blitz coming back. We have who's Blitz right now? Daredevil Blitz, but a big one coming back. Iceman, one of the members of the Axemen, who's very, very important, especially if you're in the Doom raids, and even if you're not in the Doom raids, doing some of these earlier raids, those Axemen, probably the most dominant raid team that we have in the game. So Iceman Blitz, is this going to help you get to another star on your Iceman, or is this just going to help you get some shards?
It depends on how hard I want to blitz. There's a potential chance that I might be able to get very close to getting them to 6 stars, but nice. I doubt it because I'm probably going to be blitzed out, man. But this is gonna be during the event, right? So I'm probably gonna blitz a little bit more than usual. But I think I'm almost done with some of the milestones already. So probably towards the very end of the event of his blitz, I'm probably not gonna blitz that hard for him anymore.
Okay. I probably am. I'm probably gonna I'm shooting for that 40 million-ish. I want to get into that top 1%. I don't think it's gonna get another star for me, but I push hard on these. Plus, I'm gonna be pushing hard anyway, for this Moondragon orbs and stuff like that, because I did pretty good on these other blitzes when I didn't even want to do pretty good, just because I was blitzing so much for these Moondragon orbs.
You didn't want Mystique? You didn't want Mystique stars?
Any character that I don't have as 7 stars, I'm pushing hard for. Any character that I do have as 7 stars, I'm not pushing hard for. So yeah, unless I need win matches, I don't care about my score. All right, chaos. Where does it say that Chaos Theory is coming back this week, right? I think it says that in here somewhere. I know this is a double drop, but I love Chaos Theory. Have you been saving your gold and silver promo credits?
I haven't been able to save a lot of them. I recently used, the last time I used them, I think it was on Symbiote Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, I needed that extra 5th red star on them. So I'm actually depleted right now when it comes to a lot of my, I only have like 119 silver promo credits and like 20 gold promo credits. So I definitely need a lot more of them at this point.
All right, I've been depleted as well. I got a 5th star for Gamora, and I bought a 6 star for Gamora, and I've been out ever since then. So I'm done. I don't even think this Chaos Theory I'll be able to get one character up to the next level. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe Moondragon, maybe Adam Warlock. But yeah, let me know what you guys are gonna do with your promo credits in the comments, guys. One more thing that I want to discuss, and it is about this screenshot right here. And where are you, Goofy? Where did you go? There you are. All right, this screenshot right here. We got this posted on social media. Captain Sam looks like he is confirmed coming the next update. We have these other 2 silhouettes though. We'll talk about this, but it looks like one of these silhouettes, we are getting a reveal this Friday, also from Zeeks on Discord. The response to this question, you should totally tell us the identity of 2 shadow figures teased into Twitter. And this was her response yesterday. If you come back Friday, you'll find out one of them. So it looks like we're finding out one of these characters. I'm guessing on this green one. Do you want to guess on this gray background, or who do you think we're gonna get the reveal for this Friday?
So your cursor is on the one to the right of Sam, right?
The green, the one of the right, the middle one is who I'm thinking. Who do you think we're gonna get?
This one is confusing to me. A lot of people are saying it's gonna be Agent 13, and I can see where that makes sense, but I kind of feel like there's a possibility that one could also be the 5th character for X Factor, maybe Richter. But I feel like Pride Month is coming to an end, so it would have made more sense if he was released then. So I don't know. I feel like it's Agent 13. I think that there's going to be a team for Captain Sam, and I think that's where we're going to go in. And I think the one on the right, I think we already kind of know who that one is.
I think a lot of people are guessing Maria Hill. Someone in the chat this morning was saying that looks like Quicksilver, which I don't think it looks like Quicksilver as far as a silhouette, but as far as the teams, Quicksilver I think would fit a little better on the Secret Avengers than Maria Hill would. Although Maria Hill was a Secret Avengers in a comic, so maybe it's not Quicksilver, right? So as far as this green hooded figure, I think it is very likely that it's Agent 13. She did kind of have a hood in the Falcon and Winter Soldier costume. Shuka in the series, she would have she kind of fits the green theme if you kind of look at her outfit during that stuff, and if you look at the backgrounds for all these characters, most of them, not all, but most of them, their background matches something in their costume, in their hair, or something with their skin or something like that. So green is what I'm looking for. I think Richter does fit with that, but I'm gonna go with Agent 13. The other possibility that I want to talk to you about, Lady Loki. There's been a lot of talk about Lady Loki. This green background would fit with that Loki theme. Do you think it's, do you want to switch your pick from Agent 13 and go with Lady Loki, or do you want to keep it with Agent 13?
I think it's going to be Agent 13. I don't see Lady Loki yet. I feel
silhouette, though. That could be anything behind this silhouette.
It literally could be anything. You have no idea. I don't think it's Loki, though. I think the color might be a little bit more green if it was.
All right. Okay. So we still don't know, guys. Drew has been looking for these. He has not found any rumors. Maybe Drew will be back and be the speculation guy, because Drew's rumors may have just dried up. But yeah, it looks like this is what we're getting at this point. So let me know your thoughts, guys. I think my prediction right now is still going to be Agent 13 and Maria Hill. Yep. I don't think I've had enough evidence to sway my decisions, but that's what I'm going with right now. That may change depending on what we have. And let me know your guesses before Friday, guys. We're going to get one of these, apparently.
Right.
In Zeke's is what could be her final blog post. We could get the one of these characters. Leave your guesses before that point so you know that, and there's a timestamp. You know that you left it beforehand. All right. But final thoughts. Loki. Have you been watching that series?
Yeah.
Have you watched episode 2?
Yes.
Okay, so spoiler alert, guys. We're going to discuss everything in episode 1 and episode 2. Episode 3 is released today, but in case somebody hasn't watched it, or in case somebody's watching with your family during this weekend, we're not going to talk about episode 3. But all right, what are your thoughts on the Loki series? Everything that happened up until episode 2. What is your favorite part so far about this series?
So favorite part so far of the series, I think for me, was Loki kind of just realizing who he was and how people view him, essentially, right? And I think also coming to a head and understanding who he was really and why he did the things that he did. I actually really liked that realization moment. I thought that was sincere.
Yes. Now, big talk. We mentioned her a little earlier, Lady Loki. I'm not sure if that's Lady Loki, though. One thing I was watching one of those other YouTube channels, I think it was Nerdist, or one of those that cover the series, they said on one of the foreign language translations, they credited that part as Sylvie. And in the comics, Sylvie is another name that Enchantress uses. So do you think that person at the end, and I think the US version, they just called that part variant. Do you think that person at the end was Lady Loki, Enchantress, or is it just some kind of clue to lead us astray?
Yeah, I think it's just a clue to lead us astray. I really think it's Lady Loki, because
Lady Loki.
He called her Loki, I think, right? And then she was like, "Don't call me that name." He
doesn't know what's going on. He's not a reliable narrator, though. He's like, "What is this? I did not know there was a time variant. I did not know you existed. Who are you?"
Also, by the way, let's talk about the TVA. Are they the most useless organization?
Oh, I was going to ask you. I do have a question about the TVA, but yes. So, do you think it's Lady Loki?
I do think it's Lady Loki.
Okay. My next question for you: is the TVA good guys or bad guys? Do you think they're the real bad guys of this show? Tony Scungili was on here and said that they have a lot to do with, or his prediction, he didn't see this stuff, was they have a lot to do with Kang the Conqueror. And that judge girl that judges the Owen Wilson character has a relationship with Kang the Conqueror in the comics. Do you think that Kang has a lot to do with it, and he's trying to shift this time to get him the most powerful in the future? Is that what's going on here?
It could definitely be that. I don't know if that's necessary. I haven't really fully developed my thoughts yet. The only thing that I've developed so far on the TVA is that they are useless. There's nothing. They do, literally.
Are they the future of Scopely?
Oh God!
Or is that too harsh? I think Scopely is going to improve, but so far in 2021. Obviously not everybody in that company, but there's been some uselessness in that company. There's a lot of stuff. All right. So yes, and where do you think this show is going? Do you think Lady Loki or Enchantress or whoever she is, do you think she's actually a good guy fighting the evil TVA?
No, I just think that she's out for her own pleasure and joy. That's all.
All right, I'm reading too much, just like Mephisto. I was reading too much into the WandaVision. There's no Mephisto. Is this all face value? We'll see what happens though. We're gonna watch it tonight. hopefully there's more insight tonight, and we're going to be discussing episode 3 next week on the next news video. Goofy, that's all I got for you, brother. Is there anything else that you want to discuss? Is there anything that we missed that happened this past week in Marvel Strike Force or related to Marvel or anything like that we should be discussing?
No, this congratulations to everybody who's going to be unlocking Adam Warlock, and know that you got some more time for Polaris. It's not favorable. It's not a great timing or availability, but you have at least 5 days to probably get her. So bear down your farms. Congratulations to those who are getting them. And yeah, hopefully it'll be a good no bug release on Legendary.
You're very wishful when you're thinking, Goofy. Very optimistic. But you know what? I hope you're right, brother. I hope you're definitely right. So that is it. Goofy, always a pleasure, my friend. It's always good getting different perspectives from all the different friends we have in Marvel Strike Force, and you offer 2 different perspectives because you got 2 totally different accounts. So it's always good talking with you. Anything else you want to promote? Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, you guys can catch me on Twitch, YouTube as well. GoofyRhexi everywhere. GoofyRhexi on Twitch, GoofyRhexi on YouTube. And my other links are there. You guys can take a look at those in the descriptions and on the pages.
Okay, and the OnlyFans, is it still GoofyRhexi or is it Goofy Sexy for your OnlyFans?
Goofy Sexy specifically for OnlyFans.
Okay. Everywhere but OnlyFans, GoofyRhexi, you can find them there. The links that you send me will be down below. Lots of good stuff, especially on that OnlyFans page. So check that link. I will see you guys next time. Thank you for joining me, Goofy. Thank you for joining me, Valley Club. And have a great rest of your day. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out some of my other videos if you haven't already. And if you're listening to the podcast version, make sure you give this a 5-star review because it helps the ratings and all that stuff. Awesome stuff, Goofy. Thank you once again. You made a Hulk fist, but before you go, brother, there it is. ValleyFlyin and GoofyRhexi.